in this video I'm going to show how I make titles for my photo cards. So I still have these Japanese shiny ones that don't have them yet, so I decided to show it while making those. So first I'm going to open Photocard, which is the program that I use to make these, and so you can see the screen here and the icon I left so you can see what it looks like in the top left corner. And yeah, then you just click on collage, which is the second icon thing that you see on the screen here first. Then we come to this page first, and then we're going to change the size of the paper to 21 by 30. I hope that you can see it on the screen here, because now when I'm editing it I don't see anything. Then you're going to change it so you have 3 boxes on top of each other, since we are going to have them in the 3 top pockets this time at least. Also make it a little bit smaller because it will be separated with the pockets, of course. Now the first time I used 60 and then the second time I used 55 for those, which you can see with the sliding ones. There's one that chooses the corners and there's another one which I don't know what that chooses anymore. I think it's shadow, and then you don't need those ones, you need the other one where now you can see it already. It's kind of in the middle and not at the beginning. So that one I changed to 55 or 60. Both actually are the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you choose, but that's usually what I kind of go for. Then on the left corner you see add, so that's where you can add pictures, but we're not going to do that yet. We're first going to find some pictures to use. So since we're going to start with replay, I just type in shiny replay on Google and then just click images so that I can see a lot of images. Now I usually, for the front one, I use something that has the title at least, and then on the back I use just a picture, just a group picture. Now you could use something from the album and just cut it out so it shows the title, because well, usually you can see the title on the album. You can also try to find other ones that have the title in there, and you of course you want to have it to be the size that it kind of works. If you have a square picture, of course it's going to cut off a lot because it's not going to be square. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but you just keep that in mind, that yeah, you just find different pictures. I usually just select a lot of them, keep them in a folder somewhere, and then later I will try different ones and see which one I like best and which one I think the group picture and the other picture combines well. I also look at the photo cards and see what matches with the photo cards. So that's just things that I personally do, and some tips, I guess, what you can do. Sometimes it takes a long time, sometimes it doesn't take a long time, but I do find that the longer you search for things, the better things you might find. Like sometimes if I'm in a hurry, later I find other ones that I'm like, oh, this would have worked better. But then again, like, I did have to make a lot right now, so I didn't want to take up too much time. If I really am set on something that I like, then I'll just use that one. But yeah, it does take some searching to find pictures. Also, I like to choose something that is not so, I don't know, I like to choose pictures sometimes that are a little bit different, especially if it's pictures that I've seen so many times, because they're on the front of the album or something. I like to choose something a little slightly different than it. I think that's kind of nice. Okay, then so when you have the pictures that you want to use and you're like, you have enough, then you just click on add and select the pictures that you want to use. One thing that I like to do as well is when I save the pictures to make the name be, for example, now it's replay, so everything starts with replay. That way you can find them easily, especially if you have multiple pictures to do. And sometimes you search for a replay, but you find some, like let's say a picture from Lucifer that you like as well, then you could save it and save that with the name Lucifer. then you can select them all in one go and add those pictures in and see which ones you like best, instead of searching for all the ones that are from replay. Okay, so once you have selected the ones that you can use, I just go and put them in, and that goes really easily. You can just slide it, you can make it a little bit bigger if you want to. Sometimes a picture is maybe more far away and you want to zoom it in a little bit. One thing that I did notice though is it's better to have a bigger picture, because if you have a smaller picture and you make it bigger, of course it will get blurry, and I have that with some of the titles that I made. Now, I'm not going to change it and find new ones, at least not right away, so I'm just going to keep the blurry ones. But it is a good tip to use, so you won't end up with blurry pictures like me. So then you just pick ones that you're like, okay, I can use this or I can use that, and just find different titles and see what you want to use there. I had the title fixed, but then I wasn't sure which of the two I wanted to use. I ended up using not the one with so much black in it, even though that was a little bit of a different picture. The other one I've seen so many times already, but I still decided to go with that one. But here I wasn't sure of that yet, so I had both of them. Then you just click on save to computer, you save it in a file wherever you want to save it, and then you just find the picture where you saved it and print it out from there. So now this is obviously not the one that I showed in the video, but I wasn't really happy with the clip I filmed after it, and also there were some things that I probably expected I would mention in the video, which I forgot to mention in the video because I did a voiceover and then I wouldn't mention them in the clip that came after it. So I decided now, when I'm editing this video, to film the rest of it, and I still had some left that I didn't cut yet, so I decided I would just show that in the screen right now. I might put in some clips of what I did print out, but that was just a sample. I printed it in black and white just to see if everything would be right, if the measurements like that would be right, and just to kind of show it how I would do it on if I wouldn't print double, because I do print double on these things right now, which obviously if you do print double you can't have the front and the back on the same picture, so I just have the front tiles on here and then the back pictures on here. And yeah, but I didn't have that in the example because I figured not everyone is gonna have thicker paper. If you do want to print double-sided, by the way, I think that's good to mention. I printed this on 120 grams paper. I do also have 160 grams, but I did it on 120 grams just because I would see if that would work as well, and that works as well. So if you have at least 120 grams paper, you can print double-sided. But I figured not everyone is gonna have that, and I don't think it's really needed. I just have it because I also make pages for my planner, and for that I definitely need thicker paper, so that's why I have it already and that's why I'm using this. But when I tried it out with the thinner paper, that worked just as well actually. I just had to glue it. So because most people are not gonna print it double-sided, or maybe they will, I don't know of course, but I assume not everyone is going to do that. If you don't print them double-sided, what I did in the video, which I was not happy with, I first cut both parts, so this part and then the back part as well. I glued them together. Now for glue, I really recommend this glue, which is photo and paper glue, but this is from Action, which is available in Netherlands and I think in some other European countries as well. But I guess that all photo and paper glues would be the same. I don't know, but try to find a glue that doesn't make paper wrinkly. Now you could also use a glue stick, of course, which usually doesn't make the paper very wrinkly, but I find those glues to not glue things together that well. I don't know, maybe that's just my personal experience, but the ones that I tried didn't work that great either. I find this to work the best. yeah, just find a glue that says that it will not make it wrinkly, because that's usually the case with these kind of glues. Yeah, but I actually don't recommend to glue it first. I recommend to cut out these two parts, then measure how much it will be, which I think I measured that it was 19 centimeters. So if you do it according to my tutorial, it I guess should be 19 centimeters. So divide it by 3 equal sizes, and then you just measure that out. So I do recommend to do that first before you glue them together, because you can measure it out on the back, which I didn't do because I glued them together first and I had to measure it out on the front, so you saw paper lines. If you do it like that, or you do use double-sided paper and you cannot use the trick that I'm going to show, then just make sure that you just make the lines very thin with a pencil so that you don't really see it, or erase it later if it really bothers you. I would show also how I cut it now with these ones that I have printed double-sided. So how I do it, I just take this thing, because I happen to have this, and I got it with my laminator. What I do, I'm probably not gonna do it all in screen because this needs to be really neatly and I can't really see it well. But here it's kind of like I kind of have to guess a little bit, because there's some paper here that I can't see where the line is, and then here is the line, but it's also not very clear, so I have to measure this out a little bit. By the way, since this came with my laminator, it's actually supposed to be used for laminating sheets. It's not really supposed to be used for paper, but I use it anyway. It does make sure that it is a very straight line, and I can never make it that clean with just using scissors, so that's why I use this. Then again, scissors work well as well. You don't have to have this, obviously. I just do this last line here. Okay, and then I have this thing. So then I measure this, and it is 19 centimeters. So 18 divided by 3 would be 6. And then this one I would just do 3 millimeters each, and it would come to 9 millimeters, but that 1 millimeter is not gonna really make much difference. So it needs to be 6.3 centimeters. And then on here on the side you can see the centimeters. I don't know if you can really see it in the screen, but there is here. So I can just use that. Side it. It's one piece. 6.3 again. And I have the other piece, and then I have the last piece as well. So now here you can see I already made a lot before as well. So I have all these. Now you can't really see the backs like this unless I be like going from side to side. This was blurry, but oh well. Also, this one I messed up because I cut one part wrong. I figured, well, it still works like this because you can see the one on the other side, so even though this one doesn't have anything, it's okay. Like, maybe I will still make that one later, but right now I thought, whatever, I'm just not gonna do it. What I usually try to do is this, put this a little bit more to this side, put this one in the middle, and then put this one a little bit more to this side, so that it's as close together as it can be. And then that's how it looks like, and the other side looks like this. The ones that I made before, I did very messy. So here you can see like white because I didn't glue them together. They're also not completely lined up well, because I was doing this very messy. I actually didn't even measure it. I just folded it in 3 and then I just put it together and then I just like I didn't even glue it together first, so it was messy. Let's just say that I should have paid way more attention with making those, which I didn't do, but oh well. Sometimes I make something myself. However, I'm not someone who is very well with Photoshop, let's just say that. So let's see. Here I made my own title, which you can see. I used two pictures, one which has the title and then another one which has the members, because this original picture, first of all, it was more of a square picture, so the members were there, but they were like way down here, and then they were very small, and I didn't want that, and I tried to make that bigger, and then it didn't work out well. So then I really like this picture as well, and it has a white background as well as this, so then I thought I would just match those together, and I do like it, even though it's obviously like very simple. This one I also made myself, and I'm kind of proud of it. Originally it's not like that. This isn't like, it's not supposed to be a rectangular shape. It's more like here it goes like this, and then it goes up a little bit in a round shape, and then it goes like this, but I can't select, like I can only select a square thingy because I don't know how to free select that neatly, so I just edited things to make this square and then I just selected it and zoomed in on it a lot, and then I just took a little bit of the picture, like the colors, because there was still some white on the corners, and I just kind of colored that in, very zoomed in and stuff, so it looked okay. You can see it a little bit because this picture is actually blurry, this is not that blurry, but oh well. I still think I did a really good job with this, and it took me forever to make, but I still did it. Yeah, that's also something that I sometimes do if I can't find something. Also, what I wanted to mention is if it's different sizes, for example, maybe there's 7 members and you would need 2 pockets, you can probably just make the size of the paper different. So instead of 21, make the size be 14. I haven't tried that out, but I'm guessing that would work. If you just need a 1 pocket one, so there's 8 members, you can just use the one with 9 pockets. And actually there's a tutorial how to make your own photo cards, and that uses that. So I will link that below. It's by kpopgirleurope, and actually because of that video I found out about Photocard, and that is how I use this right now, because before that I used paint, and somehow I got the measurements right one time, and then I just put pictures on top of that and cut off the rest. It was very not professional at all. This is how I make my titles. So thank you for watching, and I hope it was useful, and have a nice day. Bye!